SMD Law is the official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Check them out on the interwebs at smdalaw.com or at 866-529-3537. No matter where you are in the state of Michigan, Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula, it doesn't matter. They have an office near you. So whether you need to send a letter to an annoying neighbor, or you're a criminal and you need defense, maybe you just have problems with elder law, check them out, smdalaw.com today. The official law firm of the Spartan Nation. Call them first, then you act.
Just now we're joined by the one, the only, the great Danton Cole, MSU head hockey coach. It's always great to be with you, Danton. Thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Season's already behind you, man. Guys are back from spring break. First skate, how'd it go?
It was good. The energy level was great. We met yesterday, and I think everybody was back in school. You know how that feels after Christmas break or spring break, and we got through that and kind of laid out what we wanted to do in the next 6 or 7 weeks before finals, and they were jumping today and moving real well. Now they're off to lift weights.
Let's go back, because you are my personality. It's why you were such a successful athlete. I think it's why you're such a successful coach. The glass is never half full with you. It's either full or empty. You're that kind of guy. You're a driven guy. But let's go back. There was an improvement on wins. I think it was a significantly better team at the end of the season than the beginning. Are you able, now that it's over? When I asked you this question during the year, it looked like you wanted to just rip off my face and take a dump down my throat. But, I mean, are you able now to appreciate you guys did make some significant progress?
Well, yeah, I think it's important that you're reflexive and introspective when you look back on a season and kind of go through it. And you have to be realistic. But the way we were playing at the end of the year, I was real impressed with it, and it was nice to see. We were so dependent on the 8 or 9 freshmen playing all the time, but once they started making some strides, and the guys, as the sophomores and juniors did a real good job, and the top line was good all year long. Once that started coming, we had a chance to win every night. So, that it was good progress. I think. We look at concepts and habits. I think those really improved. That's what I kind of wanted to see. I wanted to see how much stuck when we did drills, and we didn't do a lot of teaching or explaining today. We just jumped from drill to drill. If those habits kind of hung with them, and you'd be surprised over a week or a month that they don't. But no, the guys, they were sharp, they were on it, they were zipping it around, and they looked like a hockey team.
When Mark D'Antonio first got here, Michigan State had talent, but they weren't deep. And anybody that knows sports, fans who don't know sports, God bless them, they're wonderful. They buy tickets, but they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You got to have depth. You guys had as good of a one unit, I think, that could have competed with anybody in the Big Ten, and I think you proved that. Now it's the quest for depth, right or wrong?
Oh, no, absolutely. And you look at a team like Notre Dame, who won our league. I think our top line was really good. I think our top line matches up real well with theirs.
I thought your top forwards were better, personally.
Yeah, I think they matched up with anybody in the league. Unfortunately, then we went. Our second line was more like a third line for a long time. Our fourth line was like a fourth or fifth line, but once those guys got that maturity and understood a few more things, got in a little better shape, then we started matching up down the line a little bit better. And next year, hopefully, that'll be even more improved. And I think the other thing with next year is, we're losing 4 guys. We got 5 guys coming in. I think we'll have more competition in practice, and that'll drive depth, and that'll drive results.
People who aren't athletes don't understand. Great athletes, they may not like practice, but they embrace it. Are you getting guys now that you feel like, okay, they're hungry, they're ready to go practice, they're chewing at the bit?
Yeah, I think, one of the things we used to talk about, how we thought guys left that were here and played for Coach Mason, they were pros when they left. I think what you're saying is, I think pros understand that. And some guys do like practicing. I mean, I think the really, really good ones do, at least the guys I've been around, the top. Well,
you were one of them.
Well, I'm talking about, really.
Okay, but let's quit the humble train. The reality is you're an exceptional pro.
Yeah, and I think those guys realize that, and they work, and they want to. As you evolve through, when you're a little kid, you just show up at practice and then you leave. You take your gear off and it's over and you're on to the next thing. I think when you're a pro, you win the practice and you reflect on it. You decide what you want to do better, and then you start planning for the next day. And I think our guys are getting there. We're not nearly where we want to be with that, but in terms of professionalism and the way they approach practice, and we had to catch them a few times during the year where it was sloppy and not prepared, and those are just habits that you have to go through to be a pro, and our guys do a lot better job with that now.
I want to go back to your press conference about mid-season when I actually stumped you when I talked about one of your players saying it was a professional ass whipping that you gave them. But as a coach, there are times you have to chew and times you have to hold back. How much did you learn because as a player, maybe you thought that coach probably shouldn't have chewed there or should have? How much did you learn it as a coach? How did that, because I'm going to be honest with you, Dan, I thought you were the best coach in the Big Ten this year. Just, you held the thing together, sometimes with Scotch tape. I thought it was a brilliant coaching job. How did you learn that?
Well, you mess up a lot. It's you go through it, and my first year as a head coach, it was unusual. I was in UHL with Muskegon, and we ended up winning a championship. And it was one of those years where everything I did went right. Like every trade worked out. Every time I got mad at the guys, they played better. When I decided not to get mad at them, they played better. It's just everything kind of went right. We ended up winning it, and you kind of think it's going to be that way every year. Hey, I'm not going to make any mistakes.
It's like if the 20th year of marriage was as good as the first.
Yeah, that's right. God has a funny way of evening things out, and so next say 18 years, you go through it, and you find if you have a really good team, you can be a little bit harder on them. You can drive them a little more, and if you have a team that's struggling like these guys did at times, but they're giving everything you got to kind of use the guiding hand a little bit more. But I felt towards the end of the year we could drive them pretty good. And after Friday night at Ohio State, I thought we played young. I thought we played inexperienced and nervous compared to how we've been playing. We've been loose and driving and doing a lot of things and got into them a little bit. And I wasn't sure which way that was going to go, but they responded like they had all year, and they played like warriors on Saturday night. And thank God the games weren't flipped. I'm glad we played that way to finish the season and not how we did on Friday night, because that was a lot more indicative of how we were as a team and reflective of what we were and where we're going.
I'm really excited about recruiting for this program. You guys are killing it. You're doing good. Now, for people listening on the radio who don't know, Coach cannot speak about any player by name that has not signed their national letter of intent. So we're not going to talk about anyone in specifics. But can you tell the fans how recruiting is going? Because I'm telling them there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, it's been going exceptionally well. And Joe Exter and Chris Luongo have already been out this week, and Joe's out now, and Lou's leaving tomorrow, and I'm going to go out this weekend. So, it never really ends. But the 5 guys that we have coming in, we're real excited about. We think that they're going to push for a lot of ice time. Drew DeRitter, we can talk about, who's with the U.S. program, and that is a outstanding competitor. He's going to push things.
He's a hockey player now.
He is, and he's competitive in practice, and he'll help us in a lot of ways, not just on the scoreboard. So he'll be good. Dennis Cezanna is coming in, a defenseman that's doing all kinds of great things in the Alberta League, and is one of the leading scorers in the league, and led his team in scoring as a captain of their team. And
as a defenseman,
just an outstanding player, and he'll come in and log some minutes, power play time for sure.
Quick question on him.
Yes.
I don't think we've had a defenseman with his offensive ability like that since Torrey Krug. Am I being fair?
Yeah, that's probably good. I don't know if it's a good comparison. That's a tough one, but you're right in terms of credentials coming in. I mean, that's Cale Maker is a good comparison for the hockey people. I know Cale went in the first round last year, played on the same team with Dennis, and Dennis ended up with the same amount of points as Cale had last year. So we're looking for him to come in and make a difference for us. So you know what, we've got some guys coming, and in the out years, we're starting to build that up as well, and we just. We don't need the best players. We need the right guys, and Joe's doing a good job with that.
It's like an old buddy that said to an old girlfriend, I'm obviously not your first choice, just let me be your last.
Yeah, there you go.
He's the great Danton Cole. I've said it since he got the job. Michigan State's blessed to have him. There's some coaches here that they're blessed to be at Michigan State. Michigan State's blessed to have him. One of the good guys. The best compliment I can give him, I'd let him coach my kids in a heartbeat. We'll be right back. Heartbeat.